We have another question here from a male number 3. I have been living with my cousin, a number 9, as of late. We have been in 2 different vibrations. We are set to live together another year. How should I be approaching this situation to heal?
I want to add to that. That's funny. I lived with the number 3, and I know that it can be different between men and women, depending on the numbers. But I lived with the number 3, and it's interesting because it's the best possible combination for both numbers is a 3 and a 9. But it does not mean that you all will not deal with conflict. You know what I mean? Or, you can agree to disagree on many different times, but it's a great arrangement, the 9 and the 3. Very forgiving, very embracing, and you all will face obstacles together. It's not always going to be perfect just because the numbers are perfect together. You're going to deal with obstacles. And so, dealing with, dealing with the 9 is not going to want to be involved with conflict. It's not our thing. Me being a 9, I don't really deal with conflict as much as I should. And if I do, it doesn't always go out as planned. Do you know what I mean? And so the thing is that proactively as a 3, you might have to be the one to address the 9. Like, hey, there's some things that I would like to talk to you about. You being big boss Jupiter, I think that it's a great arrangement for you to be like, hey, I want to talk to you about this, And the 9 is really compromising. It's not really compromising, but can be pretty, can be pretty compromising. You know what I mean? Can be pretty compromising because, again, they don't want conflict. But don't really expect the 9 to be the one that's going to just address every issue. 3s are great for that communication and to be more optimistic, about the living arrangement. So, just giving some word of advice with the 9 and the 3 relationship. Wholeness.
Oh, miss. Smooth. One of my closest friends is a 9 as well, and we're closely together for quite some time. So definitely understanding that space and everything that Paige says, I can definitely see the light in that because he's definitely, not to even repeat what she says, taking charge. With my friend, when I can see certain things start to develop, I would give him a gift. Like I know would be that he would receive it because 9s, they this humanitarian, give so much, flexible in so many things. So I would give him something, give him a pendant that I made. Like this is for your path. Like give him the stone for 9s at this particular moment, but I'll make something for him and give it to him just so you can have that resonance.
That's that
but
red,
always
red
remember
coral.
Yeah. Red coral, exactly. Mm-hmm. Red coral. And I gave him an EMF protection pendant, Oregon, and with the coral. And because I know that would aid us in this mending some things, because 9 doesn't like conflict. Doesn't mean it's not happening internally. He or she may not express that openly, just to create that conflict, but it's happening. And you being empathetic and knowing that it's happening, you can do things like give them time, like give space for them. Talk about it, initiate, to let them know, like you feel what's going on. And today, I'm coming back. I'm going to be going today. I won't be back for 7 hours. Give them some space or go outside. Create these things that, as the guru, the wisdom that that needs to be done. Create that space. You have to, especially if you're going to be there for quite some time. Make it as conducive as possible. And sometimes 3s are not always, you want to, sometimes he may not feel or she may not feel that they can't tell you, what they need to tell you because it might ensue conflict. Let them know that it's okay. And create a space that you can receive what is being said without saying anything back. And just breathe into the moment and create those environments. Yeah, wholeness.
Wholeness. I also add that, even when they're saying that the 9 avoids conflict, now remember 9 is Mars. So what it also means is that you're not going to win any the battles with the number 9. And this is, I guess, since we're giving advice, is one of the big things for everyone to understand when you're dealing with a 9. Curtis is 100% right. Give them something because, especially when it's something related to them, they really cherish those things and it really can break the ice. And move things out of the context of who's right in this situation. But if you're having that situation, even as Big Jupiter, you're going to hit the dust every time. It's not going to end up working out for you because you're still dealing with the god of war. So it's interesting again, because every sign, if we remember that it has an opposite. So as the arbitrator, there is this peaceful nature of working to balance things and actually being that middle point and actually keeping things more in a protection, peaceful nature. But that's a flip side to that. And that flip side is that if you've got them in a corner, or you're just trying to get them to make another decision that they don't want to make, no matter how much you crank it up, you're just gonna do more damage to yourself. So it's very important to understand exactly how to communicate with this being and not actually get into the, okay, I'm going to win this conversation. You'd be better off going in this other direction by, again, giving and softening Mars's dull blade up a bit, and then coming in on a whole nother level, because they're also very peaceful, arbitrative type of beings. And so that helps. I just wanted to bring that in there because some may come out of here like, yeah, these nines, they sound passive and totally get chopped with the doll axe,
right?
Which hurts. So they don't have that side to them that is just going to, let you off really easy if you enter into some level of conflict with them.
Thank you for adding that, brother. Thank you for adding that.
Right. We talked about previously being you're under their armor, like you're close to them, so they don't want to hit you with the dull blade.
Yeah.
So there's one point, that the question said how that, your vibrations are not, are not matching, or, I found that, in terms of like, if you say, oh, I'm a conscious person, I'm part of the conscious community, I'm aware, there's a lot of things that, this thing, like with trying to vibrate with someone else, it's specific to us, not to, so you sort of have to gauge like what's his level of awakening in terms of his speech, in terms of like how, sometimes, not everybody's where you are at. And that's for everyone, not just specific numbers. In terms of like where we say, okay, we have certain type of knowledge that we are either studying or, living a certain type of life. Not everybody will mesh with that, and they may not be there. Not to say that they're not going to their own growth or their own spiritual, So I find that there needs to be like a patience with, everyone else. It doesn't mean that I'm better because I think that I'm a consciousness level, versus someone else. So in terms of like that vibration, sometimes like in the conscious community, people come off strong and to say, oh, they're not aware. So, be mindful of your own attitude toward, his space and where he's at in his growth. I actually respect, even if someone is religious, and this is also one of my karmic lessons into like respecting someone's religion or where they are in their growth, whatever that is for them, and understanding that their higher self is working with them, and it's not up to me to get them to where I am so that they can vibrate with me at the same level of speed. So this understanding, so that requires a little bit of patience, within the self. And again, that's a lesson for you and for each one of us, in that if someone is, not so much vibrating with us, well, that could be like you don't have the same things in common, so that means like you may not want to have that kind of conversation with them. Are you the type that's like throwing the consciousness information at them? In which case, then that's combative. So especially if you're dealing with a Mars and you constantly, here's the knowledge, that's another type of like declaring war with them. So just be mindful of that in terms of like how you're approaching someone, in knowing the knowledge, wholeness.
Also this really connects into, just a statement about that in duty wise, it is our duty to plant the seed, if you may, but it's the mother's work that determines how fast it germinates. So whether that's 3 years, 3 days, whatever, that time is not actually up to us. Like that personal development with that person could take a short period. It could take a long period. It's just our responsibility, if you want to take it, to actually just plant that seed. And that kind of connects again. What would you be saying about if you're saying a person's not conscious or not on the vibration, it doesn't actually exclude them from also being a part of the grand creation and the metamorphosis of self also.